So once upon a time, it would have been difficult to get your boat down here because it would have been so heavily congested. All of this would have been factories all across here. Small bits of accommodation. But now, as you can see, it just looks like anywhere. These could be anywhere. King's Cross, Wembley, anywhere. Whether it's because I'm from Britain or not, I do have a massive love for water. I love open spaces and I love the water. It's one of the big reasons that I feel so much pain seeing the docklands, the docks, and all of the public houses, seeing them all die and disappear and become a lost memory. Some of us now, we're looking back on properties and places that we weren't even alive to see. We're just trying to keep the memory alive. So when we're gone, who's going to be left to care about them? The Mitre there used to be a very busy pub round here. Look, like many other places, some of the pubs in Woolwich would have been considered trouble pubs. But that comes down to which community you're from. For a great many people, including people I know, I've associated with around here, pubs like that were very important. I've passed this pub whilst it's been closed with people and they've told me stories about their youth. So what might look a bit rough or out of date to some people was actually another person's entire world, or at least their weekend. I'm sure around the country, many of you will know pubs just like that, sitting on roundabouts just like this, that are now just sitting there as part of a ghost society, if you like. Now this may look like it's still a functioning pub, but I don't know many pubs that sell fried fish, turkey tail, spinach stew, jollof rice. So this is obviously more so a restaurant than a public house. So in my book, that's another lost pub. Even though it's not a pub, I think that house really points out the dying nature of places like Woolwich. That is spooky to me. Could be housing a family, but instead it's dead. But Woolwich is dying in general. Look at these places here, all shut down. Look, boarded up. Down there, that's all boarded up. So instead of actually having wonderful pubs to look at or to reminisce, we've got things like this. And some people might think we're lucky to even have that, but I don't think so. I'd be much happier with the pub buildings at least. So built in 1807, the Shakespeare Public House, known as the Shakespeare Hotel, was said to be the finest and most elaborately fitted up house in the town. Well, it wouldn't be winning any prizes for that nowadays. It goes on to say that it had bands like Fleetwood Mac performing here. So this pub behind me was a very loved and famous pub for Arsenal fans. This was the Ordnance, then it was O'Connor's, and then it was known as the Gun Pit. And as you can see, it's closed. Dan and I were in there a couple of years ago, wasn't it? About a couple of years ago, and it was still going, had a bit of life, had a lot of the locals coming in. But I think a lot of people watching this will know exactly what this pub used to mean, and it used to have a very nice frontage all up towards the roof, which looks like it's been gutted out. But we are going to go into one of the last real pubs in the area, and that's the Elephant and Castle. If you're the wrong sort of person, you might look at a public house like this and think it looks a bit standoffish or unappealing, not your sort of place. But the strangest thing is, like many flat roof pubs or council estate pubs, you'll find that in today's time, that if you walk in there, it'll become very apparent to you that you're more at home than you would have realised if you hadn't. So as you can see, this is a real pub, an actual public house, as in a place that the public can, for a short time, feel like they are at home. How many places in central London do you see one of these anymore? And if we look at the walls, you'll see the great effort that people have gone to. Not just that side, you'll see obviously Tower Bridge, depictions all the way down to Greenwich, but look over here. There's also a wonderful bit of art depicting Charlton Athletic. Round up here, you'll see remnants of trophies to show that real people love this pub and have dedicated their hobbies to it. And this is obviously dedicated to all the way down to modern boxing. If you quickly turn around without disturbing everyone, you'll see it's a wholesome, quaint existence. There's a jukebox and a fruit machine. Now, you still see fruit machines in many pubs in central London, but the way that this one sits here with the beautiful pub carpet, the background, this actually reminds me of a wholesome pub. I could walk into a new pub and they'll have 6 of these, but it doesn't look right to me. It still looks out of place. And if we come over here, you'll see outside the bustling world of Woolwich. And if we was to close our eyes, decades could have happened in a blink of an eye. In here, from in here, you could be in the 80s, 90s, but only by looking outside do you remember where you are. The best pubs for me, or for us, I find, are the ones where it's most difficult to tell what year it is. And the thing about pubs like this, the most heartbreaking thing about them isn't just them dying. It's when you're sat inside and you remember you've got to go and face the real world when you're done with your drink.